with his passion was meticulous, with his passion to make ball fields look good. He also maintained Keelsdale Park for the past 20 years. He learned the skills for the field maintenance from Mike O'Hara and Bob Smythe. Mike O'Hara who maintained Keelsdale Park, took Zak under his wing, and together they turned Keelsdale into one of the best ballparks in Ontario. Unfortunately, Mike O'Hara passed away in 1999, but Zak carried on his legacy. He changed the name of the York Big 8 tournament into the Mike O'Hara Classic. While being the president of York Baseball and with the help from the Toronto Blue Jays, they were awarded a grant which assisted in the renovations for Smythe Park. He also coached the York Pioneers until 2011 and changed the name to the York Blue Jays, where they won the AA Midget City Championships in 2013. In 2019, Zak was the head coach of the York Blue Jays 18U and West Toronto Baseball 16U teams. Zak's tenure with York and Etobicoke started in the early 90s. He taught many great players and a few who have gone on to have some pretty good major league careers, such as Joey Votto, Sean Hill, and George Kateris. In 1985, after graduating from Weston Collegiate, he went on to play college baseball in Visalia, California. He was one of the first Canadians to travel to the United States for baseball and opened the door to do so for many more. At that time, Zak also started working with the Toronto Blue Jays as a clubhouse attendant and became friends with Rance Mullenix, who was born in Tulare, California, a few miles away from Zak's college. Zak was welcomed into the Mullenix home, and he said that he once dated his daughter. During his time with the Blue Jays, Zak became friends with many players such as Jesse Barfield, Roberto Alomar, and Carlos Delgado, who nicknamed him Baker's Dozen because 13 was Zak's favorite number. Zak continued playing baseball into his 40s with the York Diamonds and continues to hold many offensive records. As Coach Q so rightly said, heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Forever 13. So at this time, feedback, I'm going to find somewhere. At this time, I'd like to call Aubrey Huntley, past president, to say a few words.
I'd like to thank Coach Q. He took all my words out of my mouth. As many of you know, Zak loved the game of baseball. He put every waking moment into thinking about it, how to make it better, how to make this park better, how to make every diamond in the west part of Toronto better. The city leaned on him quite a bit over the years to, on try and how to make diamonds better for everybody. And I think Zak did quite a bit in order to do that. The one thing, again, he was an athlete. If you go to CR Marching School by chance, there's a plaque on the wall, outstanding athlete for, I forget what year it was. So it started young and it kept going until he quit playing baseball, but he never gave up coaching. So the other thing is, he loved this baseball park with all his passion, and hopefully the future generations that come through here treat it like Zak's house, and treat it with care, and don't abuse it and all that sort of lovely stuff. One thing I always remember about Zak is I always got a phone call about, I don't know, the end of April, 1st of May, we need more red clay. Every year, we need more red clay. So anyway, one thing I would like to do, I don't know how to do it, but I would sort of like to have someone within the organization contact the city and see if we can get this park named for Zak. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Aubrey. Next, new president, current president, Jim Turner.
Thank you. So yeah, coming through York as a player, and then a coach, and then a convener, Zak was synonymous with Keelsdale, where it was hard to keep the two apart. If you're going to Keelsdale, you were going to see Zak. If you were getting on the field, you were going through Zak. And Zak had a bit of a harsh exterior, at times, as his players will know, but he cared deeply about this park and about those players. And I remember the night that the grant came through, we did the dedication at Smythe, and his favorite player, Robbie Alomar, was there, and Zak was on cloud nine. So that was a great memory of him in the park, and all the work he put into those fields was for the kids he coached on them. And so, to Aubrey's point, we are actually actively in the process of renaming the park, and actually we'll be renaming the clubhouse the Zak 13 Clubhouse as well. So this will be Zak's house permanently built.
Thanks, Jim. Jeez. Next, Richard, and he's got some good news, and he's got some good memories.
Good morning. Thank you for everybody being here. Some people expected this to be bigger, but I assume once the park gets named, we'll make it a much more official event. Tuxedos, formal. Start buying it now. Zak. Where do I start? He didn't like me at first. I always said, why? When I started here at Keelsdale, I was already at Smythe, then I came to Keelsdale with the minor midget York team. He wanted to amalgamate the midgets and the minor midgets in one team, but my team already had like 14 kids on it, so we didn't want to cut it. So York's exec said, no, we're going to keep both teams, which meant I was going to be on this field. First thing I did was buy him a six-pack. He was happy after that. In 2012, I started coaching with him together. That's when we became the York Blue Jays. It was kind of bummed because I did have my team, but I know what circumstances of organizations when they want to do, so I was fine with it. He gave me a call and says, Rich, come coach with me. It's like, no problem. I was like, you just want my sponsorship? He's like, yeah. So that helped out the team. But the good thing was when he told me we're not wearing the green and yellow anymore, I was like, yes. We're going to the Blue Jays. I'm like, all right, no problem. We were iffy because we weren't sure how many kids were going to get out to come out and try out. We actually had a bunch of kids, which was pretty good. Second year on the team, we had a lot more kids, which I guess word spread out. Most of the team was brand new in 2013, and we actually got it all together. Great kids, and we won the championship. And I even got some of those kids to work drywall, which was pretty good. Coach Zak was everything to this park. Some kids didn't understand him, and I always had to tell them, don't take it negatively. Think of it as constructive criticism. Some kids still don't know what that word means. But just take it as a positive approach. Work on what you have to work on, and you'll be better. And a lot of kids did that. A lot of kids did become better. A lot of kids carried on playing baseball after midget, which was good. Other kids went out to colleges in BC, the US, right? I know he inspired Q a lot. Q came from Zak's school of baseball, right? Q coaches Team Ontario, won the championship last year. So he came out of Zak's school of baseball as well. Half of these kids last year were coached by Zak. They came back. A lot of them understand now what they got to do to be better players. It'd be great if they show it on the field. So please support them. But they're great kids. Like Jim said, we are renaming the clubhouse Zak 13 Clubhouse after Zak. We are getting the park renamed. That's in the process. Pretty much, I miss the guy. All right.
Here, here.
Tournament's a lot of work. Sorry. It's the Gatorade. He was a great guy. A lot of people loved him. And I know we're all gonna miss him. Thank you.
So we're gonna kind of close this out, and it's interesting. And we don't really understand how many people somebody touches until something like this happens. It all comes full circle. I first started here when I was 16 years old, maybe a little bit younger, and Zak was really adamant on how to take care of the field. And it's one of the things that I remember the most about him. But it's interesting enough now that I have a team that we have our own field, and getting to teach 20 women that are going to be upstanding citizens how to do exactly the same thing that Zak taught me. I got a bunch of, yeah, for sure. It's not easy at all. My girls understood that real quickly. But now we got 20 girls that know how to put clay into the home plate, completely bring a diamond from absolutely nothing when it rains to playable. They can take care of their own mound. They know how to rake. They know how to drag. They know how to use clay. And field clay is extremely difficult to use. And if I didn't have Zak, then I wouldn't have been able to do that with 20 of the closest people to me at this moment. And I wouldn't have been ready to go off to college, because in college, that's what you got to do. You got to get your field ready to go. And that all started here. And I was able to take some of that stuff over to Etobicoke when I played there. But it's incredible how things come full circle. And my girls were able to meet Zak this year. We hosted the National College Baseball Invitational, and he came, and we were spread a little bit thin, and he came and he did some field work for us at Connerville, and it was an extremely proud moment for me to introduce my girls to the reason that they know how to take care of home plate, how they know how to make sure that the field is ready to go if it's going to rain the next day. And that was an extremely proud day for me. And I know that today is an extremely proud day for a lot of people that are here. And I know that when this gets named and this gets named, that's going to be incredible, because he deserves it. He put every ounce of his soul, blood, tears into that field behind us. And sweat, lots of sweat, especially on that tractor over there. And he did it for all of us. And I could say all of us because, I mean, when I played here, he was doing it for me. And he did it for you guys. And to 100%, you can see a lot of the parks that you guys play at. And you see some of the shape that some of them are in right now. Without the work that this guy did for 20 years, this field doesn't look the way it is right now. So I hope everybody enjoys it for what it's worth for going forward. And everybody who gets to play on it going forward, remember that guy, because he was truly special. So at this point, we're going to open the floor. Does anybody want to say any words about Zak?
Thanks, everybody. My name is Chris Cody. I'm the registrar at York Baseball. But in more recent years, I've been coaching with Zak with West Toronto AAA, and so my story with Zak is that I met him through being an executive member at York, and you had to know him because he was a presence at those meetings. Of course he was. He told you what went on at Keelsdale. He was the guy that knew. So I came along. He was the vice president. Bit of an intimidating guy to meet in those days. His team had just won a championship. He talked to you about, what is it that you know about baseball? What are you bringing? And I wondered myself sometimes what it was I was bringing, because I came in the category that Zak didn't always appreciate, and that was the dad coach. So if you're a dad coach, it means you came because your kid is here. And he came to it because he had a love of the game that dated right back to when he was a kid. So I knew from the day I met him I was always going to be a dad coach. That was fine with me. But over the years that I worked with him, a couple of compliments that came my way made me realize that I had done something right. The first one was when I helped out with the York team, organizing, getting all the rosters in, getting everything done, and he gave me this hat. He said, "There you go. There's a hat for you." So Dad, Coach gets a hat. Proud day for me. And as the years went on, and we put some other teams on the field. A couple of years ago, we had another rep team play on the field that was in green and yellow. I think it looks just fine, by the way. but the green and yellow team played out here a couple of years ago, and he watched our guys play. He watched every game. He was always at the field. And at the end of that year, he said to me, "Are you interested in making that team into a AAA team? We'll get all those guys to try out. We'll get more kids walking in. We'll get a AAA team made out of that team." And for me, that was a huge compliment for the team that we had put on the field to become what is now the West Toronto U16 playing here at the tournament this weekend. So when you're intimidated by a guy and you can work with him for a few years, and by the time you're at his funeral, you realize, you know what? He had, I hope, some appreciation for what I was trying to do, and I sure had a lot of appreciation for what it was he was trying to do. He was a special guy, and I know that the kids who play with us on the West Toronto team will never forget him. So thanks everybody for being here.
I swear I'll try and figure that out. Is there anybody else? Wow. It's interesting that I got to see that picture. It's a long time ago.
That was fun, though. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I think this is as good a time as any to close it out, because we got baseball to play. And that's the biggest reason why Zak did everything that he could at this place, is so people can play baseball. So let's get that going, and let's have a great day. Thank you.
So just fuck it. What the fuck, man? Whoa!